Hello gamers, it's SoftKitty99, the Happy Gamer, and today we're in Parkitect. Let's continue the campaign. In the last episode we took a look at the park that I built for Orchard Acres, so this time let's take a look at the park for Coaster Canyon. A barren desert canyon with ample land available for construction provides a perfect spot for a new tourist attraction. A giant cliffside hypercoaster is the first step for this soon-to-be roller coaster paradise. So we've already got a cliffside hypercoaster, which you can see in this picture here. So that goes up and down the sides of the cliffs. So they're utilising the cliffs to build the coasters, and they want it to be a roller coaster paradise. So they're expecting you to use the terrain in order to build some more coasters. So let's see what they want us to do. Have at least 6 coasters in your park with an excitement rating of 50 or above. So you need 6 coasters and you need to get the excitement rating of 50 or above. Now you know I'm not very good at building coasters, so to me this one was a huge thing to try and accomplish. Have at least 550 guests in your park. So those are the 2 things that you've got to accomplish. And your optionals are to have at least 700 guests in your park, so that's more than your scenario requirements, and to complete all non-optional goals by the end of August of year 2. And I was really surprised that I actually managed to get the gold medal for this one, because with the building 6 coasters of 50 or above, I really thought I would struggle extremely much with that one and would not get the gold medal. So let's take a look at the park that I built for Coaster Canyon, and let me show you what I did, and just let you know that it's not as hard as it sounds, because I really don't have any experience at building coasters before I started to building Parkitect. So if I can manage it, I'm telling you, you can do it. Anybody can do it if I can do it. So let's zoom out a little bit. Now as you can see straight away, this is a pre-built track here. You know what I'm like with using the pre-builts, because like I said, I don't have any experience with building coasters. So let's find the entrance for you. I think it's actually, where is the entrance for this one? You can see the terrain. Look, there's this big cliff down the side, look here, huge cliff down the side, and this is the hypercoaster that the game said it started with here, up this side of this cliff. So you can see it goes all the way along the edge of the park, all the way along this hypercoaster that they built. So they actually give you an absolutely amazing starting thing. Right, so here's the entrance. It's down at the left hand side of the map for me here. So your guests come in from the desert to these buildings right here. So let's start at the front of the park and let's take a slow look around, and let me rotate this a little bit better. Right, so the guests come in here, and you've got your goods receiving depot right at the side here, and there's the place for your staff to go in to the goods depot, and here's where your path goes to the front of Coaster Canyon and your entrance park. Oh, he looks kind of sad. You took it out after your day in my park. So right by the entrance we've got an information kiosk and a first aid room, and I've put in some pavilions over some seating so that the guests can be protected. It does seem to rain quite a lot in this terrain, so I think it's quite a good thing to have some rain protection in this park. And it's also, when it's not raining, it seems quite bright to me, so I think having the pavilions here to protect both your seating and your queue lines is really quite a must for this park. I've got a little toilet block right here, and I zoom in, not out, kitty. Right, so I've got a little toilet block here, look, you can see the toilet sign on the front. Can I rotate that? Looks a bit better, look. And I've used the wooden sides and like a tin roof, because it just feels like a mining place. We're in a canyon, we've got cliffs, we've got things that just feel mining like, and if you look at the hypercoaster, that kind of has a mine train, mine vibe with the buildings around it. So I've stuck with that theming for the buildings that I've added myself, and used the same sort of materials that they used on the hypercoaster buildings. So there's my toilet block right at the front and my information kiosk, and I said we've got the first aid one just right in that corner because there's just this little tiny space over here, so I added the first aid right there as an extra thing, and it also blocks the view of the goods in depot as well in that corner, so that's quite a nice use of it. And we've got a little bench just between the two, look, and you can put lighting at the side of the first aid so you can get extra little bits in there to utilise as much space as possible. Again, here we've used the like corrugated iron style roofing and the wooden side panels for our shopping area right at the beginning, and if I drop the top down you can see which shops I've got. We've got a vending machine right next to the path for the staff coming out because they do bring the boxes around the front of the vending machine, so it's always good to have that right next to a staff path. And we've got a balloon kiosk, soft drinks and hot dogs. So we're quite a basic shopping area, not a ton of shops in there, but enough. We've got food, we've got drink, we've got some sort of souvenir thing, and then you've got a bit more food there. And right behind that I've added the staff room and the staff training room in this building as well. And there comes one of our staff people after their break to come out to entertain everybody. So I've just built that across and just kept that style of building over there. Opposite to the shops we have our tiny bit out, we have our Ferris wheel, good staple for a park, and if you can see, look, there's not, oops, rotate around a bit, there's not much space here at the side of the path, so that's about the only thing that will fit in, and that means we can utilise the space really nicely. So the queue goes around the back of it and then you come back out through the front, and also managed to fit in a couple of little flower beds. Kept the foliage fairly sparse because looking at this terrain you don't expect lots of things to be growing in here, do you? And then under this little pavilion here I've got one of those cash machines just right on the corner, so it's got access to two sides of the path here. Over here I've utilised one of the pre-built rides here. Doesn't that look absolutely phenomenal? And the ride itself is Candy Mountain. I just thought we need something bright in here, and we also needed extra rides and things, and that there's no way I could build something that great, I don't think. Anyway, we'll have a go at building lots of things later with a after we've done the campaign we'll have a go at building stuff ourselves, and you can see how well or badly I do this for myself. But if you love something like this, use the pre-built model, the Candy, I forgot the name already, Candy Mountain, there you go. And then right next to our Ferris wheel I've added in the staple of every fairground. You absolutely have to have at least one carousel wherever you are. And look at these striations on the mountains, really cool actually, really cool. And then we'll have the path bend around. The path does bend around as you get the area, the canyon, at the beginning, so I have flattened a few little bits out, but I've stuck mostly to the terrain, just followed the path round as it was originally, because if I move it further this way, I thought about making it a straight line, but then it comes away from the hypercoaster and you don't actually get to interact with the path, so I left the path where it was so that the patrons as they go past can see the hypercoaster in action. And here you can see what I was talking about with utilising this design of the buildings for the toilets and the shops at the beginning. It looks like a big mountain complex, doesn't it? A mining engineering complex here. All of this work into the mountain, and here at the base this came with the hypercoaster and the canyon when we started, so I used that as the inspiration for my buildings throughout. And they've used the spooky trees look and made them green, so that's kind of cool actually. Just think you can utilise all lots of different colours and things as you go. So if we zoom all the way out, let's take a look at this hypercoaster properly, shall we? So we've got this interaction with these buildings, so that's actually really cool scenery for the ride itself. Look at the way it loops up and round onto the top of the canyon walls, and then it utilises the height. Look, so it starts low and goes all the way up high quickly, loops round and then drops all the way back down, so it's really using the space. Shall we follow? Let's follow it round, shall we? So great big drop off the lift hill, swoops down low, swoops up and round up to the top of the canyon, hangs right on the edge of the canyon, look, then goes up and loops around, tips them over like they're going to fall, and then swoops them all the way back down the complete height of the canyon. Really uses the terrain really well, look. Big lump over a ride that I've added in to give you that extra bit of interaction. Big loop round, up onto the top of the cliff again, and down and round again. Over the station building, down again, loop onto the base of the terrain, big loop around to link into the river, back over and back round to the station. It's actually a really nice layout using the terrain really well, but as I said, that's the ride, that's the keynote ride that the game itself comes with when you start. So let's zoom into the station building as they go inside, look, and you can see again it's this wood walls, corrugated iron roofs, barrels and things around, so it really does look like a mining building. And look, it comes on quite a few levels. I really like the way they've interacted here with the path out, look, comes down and round, and it's got so many levels here. This is where the actual station is here, and then the roof comes up and over, look, and they've added all this wooden walkway and stuff to make it look like the track for the ride is actually built onto this. And then you've got the higher up level here, look, and it kind of looks like you've got a spare train in the roof, so they could add an extra train to the line if you wanted. And then you've got this extra depth here again, and then the queue going in goes in round the back, look, and I've added a few pavilions just to give a bit more protection from the sun and the rain, and in case things fall off the ride, hopefully nobody has loose items in their pockets to come and land on your little head. And again, you've got this on multiple levels. It's a really nice building that it came with. So I've linked that in here into the paths, another set of toilets right in front of that, and another first aid station. And if we come back across here, we can join up. I put in this big square with lots of crates and things, so it looks like it's kind of mining. Crates, barrels and things which they've got around the hypercoaster. Link it all in. If we keep coming back all the way back down here, let's go back to where we were. Whee. So it's a really long ride on that hypercoaster, look. So here we are back at our carousel opposite to the monorail car ride. So if you come round the corner here, we have the Enterprise. There it goes, look. This is your big thrill ride, apart from your coasters, of course, because they said we want lots of coasters, but you also need extra things. And there it goes, going up. Quite a popular one, this one. Quite a big thrilling ride. Lots of people really like that one. As I said, I kept the theming quite simple all the way around. Pavilions on all the queues. A few trees around. Keep it fairly sparse because it just looks like the sort of terrain where it would be pretty sparse. And if you come behind the Enterprise, we have a log flume. So the entrance to the log flume's built up a little bit, but we've kept it very simple with the plain blue pavilions for a station. Just enough to keep a bit of the rain off if you need to. And then you've got a big looping around, interacting with the monorail car and going over the river quite a bit as we go around here. So we're utilising the water to be in keeping with the style of the ride and things. And of course this, I think, actually counts as a coaster, despite the fact that it's actually a log flume. I think the game actually does count this as a coaster. And this is again a pre-built. It's the John's Lumber Mill State, so just so you know. There we go. Quite a nice compact layout to just go over the water. I did try to build one myself, but because the water's quite narrow, unless you spend a ton of money making it bigger, which doesn't really fit with the terrain, I just decided to put this in here. And if you keep going along, we've got a nice calm ride here. We've got the teacups, and then opposite it we've got another big thrill ride, one of those topple towers. Look at the way that tilts. That's that just crazy. Absolutely crazy. And these, of course, all run alongside the hypercoaster. The park's quite a long, thin stretch of land, to be honest. I managed to sneak in, just really interacts well with the hypercoaster here. One of the wave swingers. had to build it just slightly higher so that you've got just enough space to fit everything in, and the queue rises up as it goes in, and you have to come down a few steps to come out. Opposite that we've got the big star shape, again another thrill ride. Got to have a few thrill rides and a few calmish rides in the park, otherwise it doesn't work terribly well, does it? And you keep coming along here, you've got the toilets and the entrance to the hypercoaster right here, and we've got another little shop block right opposite here, and opposite those we have the mine train coaster state. This again is a pre-built for the scenarios. I really like using the pre-builts, and this particular one comes with like a square around it, so it's like a centerpiece, it forms a square, and I really like the design of this, especially with having it become a big square, so it looks like you've got this big open square with the ride in the center, and then it funnels you into lots of different areas. So at the back here, off to one side, we've got another coaster, because remember we need 6 coasters in the park. This one's the Moorish Monarch, again it's a pre-built. And right at the back here I've got a coaster that goes underneath. Powered coaster here. This one's quite compact, it just comes up and around here. Power coasters tend to be quite small. As you can see, we've not got that much space for it to fit in. Up and down and around, and then it goes underneath, see, look, underground, in order for it to fit underneath the hypercoaster and then come back around to the station. And here you can see the edge of the park runs along the edge of the river, so we didn't actually have a lot of space to fit something in. Luckily I could get this powered coaster to fit in, because like I said, we're trying to fit in 6 different rides. And then right next to that we've got the standard Wild Mouse. And then in front of the Wild Mouse we've got an orbiter, and that leads right round to the shops here. So let me just give you a quick look at the shops. If we drop the scenery, and again we've used the same style of building as we did before, so we've got the goods delivery depot at the side here, a staff room in the back to help the staff, because it's such a long thin park, we really need somewhere for them to be able to rest and recuperate without having to go the entire length of the space again. And we've added in a bin delivery chute as well, so that the staff don't have to walk all the way to the front of the park carrying the rubbish. We've got a vending machine here, and then you've got a blank wall here so we can add a seat to separate, so we've got the chute at the back, and then we've got soft drinks, balloons and a hot dog vendor. So as you can see, we've got very few shops for this particular scenario, so I did get so here you can see we've not got many shops for this scenario. Look, this is basically all I've got, and I have used absolutely everything in this scenario. And again we've got a cash machine opposite and some seating underneath the pavilions so that people can sit. I've managed to put in a lamp and a bin here as well, and another information booth right at the back just on the edge of the square, so you can walk through the seating into the edge of the square for the mine train coaster. And that is basically the park. So it's a long, thin, narrow park. So here's the very edge at the back. That long, thin, narrow layout is quite tricky to work with. As you can see, I've managed to stick in quite a lot of stuff in quite a compact, small space here. Really kind of crazy that. So if I can just get all of that in for you, and then let's take that as a screenshot so you can see how compact everything is. So we've got the hypercoaster down the side here, we've got a flat here, we've got Wild Mouse, power coaster, mine train coaster, another coaster here. It's all very compact, you see, and a shopping area all in that little space. Look, so it's a very compact utilisation of space in this particular park. And then as we come across here, a thrill ride, calmish ride, thrill ride, calm ride, thrill ride, calm ride, log flume, calm ride, medium ride. So we've got a nice mix of different rides in here, and we did manage to get in our 6 coasters. So you start of course with the hypercoaster, that's one. Wild Mouse is 2, Powered 3, Mine Train 4, this one here 5. Log Flume does actually count 6, and I think that the track ride here could potentially count as well. So don't forget that log flumes can count, but getting the log flume that comes over your 50 excitement is quite tricky, because I did try to build one myself first and that didn't work out, so I ended up using a pre-built one so that I could guarantee the 50 excitement in order to complete the scenario. So that is my park for Coaster Canyon. Hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. From SoftKitty99, goodbye and happy gaming!